This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Today's video is brought to you by Noom. In just a minute, I'm going to talk about an offer exclusive to you and my audience that I truly believe will benefit you just as it has me. Before I get into that, though, something remarkable happened this weekend at Donald Trump's little rally in Texas, where he pledged to pardon the insurrectionists, the violent mob that attempted to overthrow the United States government almost 13 months ago. An event we all witnessed live on television. It wasn't something that after the fact we got some video of and like, oh, how shocking. We watched it. If you love your country like I do, you were alarmed by it. You were shocked by it. You were grieving for the state of our democracy. Not so much with the thousands who converged in an attempt to overthrow the government and overturn a free and fair election. Not for them. The law and order crowd who decided to take the law into their own hands and disregard the actual codified law. Donald Trump, in his speech, offered pardons for them, among other things. Before I get to that, though, a word from today's sponsor, Noom. I have successfully been living healthier since last summer with the help of Noom, and I want to talk to you about it. Noom is a program that utilizes psychology and approachable wisdom to help you affect behavioral change. And it works. I was great all the way through the holidays and managed not to overdo things as I so often do. But at the top of the new year, as you know, we moved across the country, and with the stress of travel and fast food intake, I have fallen off of my regular routines just a little bit. If you are suffering from the usual holiday overindulgence, or if you are simply looking for a way to efficiently get your health in order, join me in using Noom. Head to Noom.com/Dollemore to take your free 30-second quiz today, or just click the link in the description below to start on a healthier track right now. Noom is easy to get into, or back into in my case. In just 10 minutes a day, Noom educates you about your personal health and habits while also helping you set reasonable thresholds to track and meet your exercise and diet goals. If you miss a day, don't sweat it. Cut yourself a break and pick up where you left off. Noom's positive coaching from cognitive behavioral therapy trained professionals will help you get right back on track just like it did me. Take control of your new year with Noom. Head to Noom.com/Dollemore or click the link in the description to take your free 30-second Noom quiz and start achieving better health right now. So I want to remind everybody, I want there to be a reminder of what took place in the days leading up to the insurrection, the day of the insurrection, and then the subsequent few hours and days after that. Because it was clear to the world, it was clear even in MAGA world, that this was an attempted overthrow, an attempted altering of the election results, and that Donald Trump's insane, whipped into a frenzy followers did it. It wasn't a happy family reunion, like Michelle Bachmann said. It wasn't a typical tourist event. It wasn't a trespassing event like Tucker Carlson is fond of saying. Even Donald Trump said it. Remember when he said that you're special people? I'll get to that. First, let's talk about the pardon, the offer of pardons, that they're treated so unfairly. Again, with the refrain about unfair. These people broke the law. They assaulted en masse police officers in uniform. It wasn't an accident. It was malicious and intentional. And Donald Trump wants to let him off the hook while talking about the mistreatment, while not really pinpointing in on anything specific. It's all nebulous. It's all vagaries with Donald Trump, because that's all he needs to inflame the passions of his audience. Watch this remarkable moment from ex-President Donald Trump.
So many people have been asking me about it. If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly. This hasn't happened to all of the other atrocities that took place recently. Nothing like this has happened. What that unselect committee is doing and what the people are doing that are running those prisons, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
He wants to talk about atrocities and doesn't want to put into the atrocity bucket the violence and mayhem visited upon those guarding and protecting our democracy and the people who work in the building who also protect it. Not an atrocity that they attempted to overturn a free and fair and settled American election. That's not an atrocity. The atrocity is they got caught. And he's going to protect them. If you reelect me, I'm going to let the hundreds of individuals who assaulted police officers, who defaced the Capitol, taken dumps in the hallways, we're going to look the other way and let them off the hook. Which is part and parcel, pattern and practice for Donald Trump. Paul Manafort, pardoned. Roger Stone, pardoned. Steve Bannon, pardoned. The slew of other people in Donald Trump's orbit who committed crimes and were convicted of said crimes, let off the hook because they're pals with Donald Trump or they were working in service to Donald Trump and it suited his interests to let them off, so they keep their mouths shut. Gross. Now, I want you to remember, just listen, you just remember, you just watch the clip of him talking about the insurrection, talking about those who committed the insurrection, who were involved in said insurrection. Remember the moments after, while he was trying to get them to leave, well, after he was convinced that it was in his best interest to get them to leave. Calling them special people. Remember that moment.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace.
Talking sweetly to people who just tried to overthrow the United States government at his behest. His tune changed, though. Remember the next day when he gave a statement? In the following days, he took a lot harsher tone about lawlessness, and we can't have this. We have to have law and order. Remember this.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Heinous attack, outraged by the violence and lawlessness. disgusted by the people who infiltrated and defiled the United States Capitol, and that those who engaged in it, you will pay until it's not politically feasible and I want to give you a pardon. Ultimately, that is exactly what he's saying, because we've witnessed it. We witnessed the evolution from Donald Trump, by the way, a lie that he immediately dispatched the National Guard. He did not. We know because they didn't show up until hours later. But remember, just a day or two later, 3 days later, he's on Fox News saying that it was Antifa. You've witnessed the timeline. Now here we are, the culmination of the switch for Donald Trump. Watch this.
And you had some bad people. And if you look at what happened at the Capitol, you had some bad people that were not patriots at all. And they came from other places, including Antifa and including others. And they led a lot of people astray. They don't want to cover that. They don't want to cover the election results.
So the people he was calling special to go home. I understand. I feel your pain, y'all. I know you're aggrieved. It was stolen from you just like it was stolen from me. Then all of a sudden they're Antifa. Days later. Liar, grifter, charlatan, scumbag, anti-democratic goon. And anyone who supports him, stands in league with him, is also that. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Thanks for joining me today and every day, engaging with my content. I appreciate the likes and the comments and the subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. That's fantastic. And if I bring you value, please consider supporting my work here on the platform. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can help produce and support my work. Click on the join button, become a channel member, or you can click on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I love you guys. I appreciate you. We're in for a rough ride this year. Again, yet another. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.